Hey, what is up everybody? I am Chance and we are back today for a long overdue Our Life Beginnings, and always, let's just jump into it. Alright, and just one little quick aside, you guys are awesome. I read all your comments and I think the majority of them are super sweet and super nice and super wonderful, and yeah, I just really don't know what to say. Thank you for hanging in there with me. I think it's been a month since I last uploaded a video. So again, thank you, and I apologize so much for leaving you wonderful people hanging. But here we are. Let me be quiet, and let's see what kind of shenanigans we can get into. The next morning, your belly was full of breakfast, and you were in a pleasant mood. You hoped the rest of the day followed suit. Let's see. Later, you were meeting up with your friends, Cove, Miranda, and Terry, to go into town. It was all on short notice, but that was because everyone was just so excited that Cove was finally back home. That's right. Having a nice daydream? You blinked, pushing all your thoughts away and returning to reality. Your mom was watching you with a teasing smile. So, what's on the agenda today? I'm meeting up with some people. Well, I hope you and your friends have fun. Don't get into too much trouble. She winked at you. You knew both of your moms wanted you to enjoy every bit of this summer before all the big changes started. For real though. Like, definitely enjoy it, man. I'll try. But before you go gallivanting around the town, could you bring the mail in? I'm finishing up putting the dishes away over here. Alright. Thanks very much.
That'd be great.
Look at Cove's dad. Holden, I want that shirt. How do I get that shirt? As soon as you were outside your front door, you couldn't help but see Cove and his dad standing around in the road. They noticed you too. Hey there, Jamie. Hi, good timing. You should come join us. You waved at him, you hugged him, you gave him a high five, you gave him a noogie, you ruffled his hair. We're gonna ruffle his hair because I think that's cute. Your action was quick and thoroughly messed up his hair. His face was red while he pouted and started smoothing his hair back into place. You noticed Mr. Holden was taking in the scene of you and Cove with a self-satisfied smile. Cove followed your line of sight and shot his dad an unimpressed look. For a moment, Mr. Holden seemed like he had a thought dancing on the tip of his tongue, but he decided to keep it to himself. So, what are you up to today? As far as I know, nothing too much. Me and Cove are meeting some friends in town later. Sounds like a plan to me. Yawning, Mr. Holden stretched his arms over his head. My boy and I have just been waiting around to see what the new neighbors are like. Oh snap, the ones that are gonna fill that one house that the old people vacated? It was definitely his idea. I don't know how you're not interested in this. It's big news. Besides, it'd only be polite to greet the new folks in town. Maybe it'll be a single dad and his son. I might say that one. You've been here too long if seeing a new person rent a condo is what you consider an exciting development. Yes, I'm dying to see the newcomers. Your response was just a shrug. I don't want to meet them. Well, anyone has to be better than the last tenants. Ooh, the first and the last one are so good. But let's do a callback. Let's do a callback to the very beginning. Cove snorted some airy laughter at the suggestion. You think we'll have some competition? For several moments, Mr. Holden was unable to answer. He was still chuckling when he put his hands on his hips and tried to compose himself. Absolutely not. We're the #1 father-son duo in this town, and no one's changing that. Mr. Holden took one more glance at the current vacant building and sighed dramatically. When he turned back to you and Cove, his whole body seemed deflated. There's no sign of them, and I still need to head over to work soon. Cove gave his dad a few reassuring pats on the back. Okay, I promise to keep an eye out. I can text you if anything happens. That's really cute. Really? Yeah, of course. Well, I mean, only until I have to meet up with Terry and Miranda. Would that still work? With a wide grin breaking out of his face, Mr. Holden looked absolutely thrilled to have his nosiness enabled. That works. Just have Cove taking pictures. Whereas Cove would like text his dad and be like, get your butt over here. And then his dad's gonna skip work just to spy on the new neighbors. I don't know. He moved to firmly place both hands over Cove's shoulders, fixing his child with a firm stare. Son, you are my true ally in this world. Mr. Holden stood up straighter, letting Cove go. He looked reinvigorated. I love how their relationship has grown. Okay, with that settled, I'll go make some money. That's always been the one thing I do best. Mr. Holden headed off to the garage with a big wave goodbye. Cove smiled the whole time you both watched his dad leave. Oh. You really liked Mr. Holden. Mr. Holden was one of your favorite people. Cove's dad was kind of a bother. You had mixed feelings on Mr. Holden. We're gonna say Mr. Holden... Wait, why did I say Mr. Holden was... Yeah. Mr. Holden was one of your favorite people. He always tried his best and was honestly just great. It's true. As soon as he was out of sight, Cove sighed lightly. Are you okay? Yeah, just not looking forward to waiting. Guess I'll be hanging around the street a while. Good luck. See you later, bye. I'll stick around to see the new neighbor. I can't wait with you. Why don't I stay to see the new neighbor and keep you company? Well, that last one actually encompasses everything, I think, so let's pick that one. Curiosity about the new tenant was getting the better of you, and you figured that the wait wouldn't be too much longer. And besides, you just couldn't leave Cove. Really? Of course. I like keeping you company, remember? He stared at you a moment, smiling softly and thinking about his response. I like that too. Cove put his hand on your shoulders, gripping you solidly but not enough to hurt. His eyes fixated on you just as firmly. He was serious. Jamie, you're my true ally in this world. That got a fair amount of chuckles from you. He grinned, the stoicism fading into amusement. You're always good to me. You're lucky to have me, it's no problem. I can't help myself. You laughed, you shook your head, you simply shrugged. Let's do it's no problem, maybe? I don't know about that. I'm just happy you're always here. Aww. The smile on his face reached his eyes, and it made you feel electric. And then, he let go of you. Cove stepped over to his front porch steps, lazily taking a seat and leaning back on his arms. Our watch begins. Nodding in agreement, you joined Cove on the front porch steps. You both sat there in a comfortable familiarity as you settled in for the waiting game on the new tenants. The neighborhood was quiet, and you sighed contently, closing your eyes and feeling the light breeze. Eventually, you both perked up at the sound of a car, a taxi followed by a noise turning onto your street. By the way, some of the best times I think are spent with somebody that you really trust and that you really like, and you can just sit there in silence and just enjoy each other's company without speaking, without anything. Like, that's when you know that that person is pretty cool. Eventually, you both perked up at the sound of a car. A taxi followed the noise, turning onto your street. Cove's eyes raised at the sight, and he sat up straight on the stoop. This has to be them, right? Yeah, it's gotta be. Now that they were here, you couldn't help but feel just a bit curious. You wondered what kind of person would be living in the neighborhood for the summer. The taxi pulled up to a stop as you expected in front of the now empty condo. It was on the same side of the street as your house, a few buildings further up. Without getting to his feet, Cove tried leaning and tilting his head to get a view of the passenger door as it opened. The single occupant exited the cab. Huh? You could feel what Cove was in that moment. After the last renters, this new visitor was definitely not exactly what you'd expect. Who? Who is this? Again, another great shirt. I want it. It was a young man, had to be close to your own age. He was dressed fully in eclectic black and white and gray outfit, even his side swooping hair matched the scheme. The only other pop of color was from something that couldn't easily be fashioned into submission. A pair of dark brown eyes, which you caught when you looked over at his audience. Hello, folks, you might be. We're the neighbors. The smile already prominent on his face curled further. It was cocky, but you didn't get the impression it meant something adverse. Hallelujah! You and Cove shared a familiar look with one another, bewildered even further. The color-coordinated man left it there, however, and with a firm click, he shut the door of his ride. Then he turned his back to you to retrieve a large, unsurprisingly black suitcase out of the trunk. Continuing on his own business, he strolled forward and lightly tapped on the driver's side window with his knuckles, asking for them to roll it down. When it opened, he leaned down and rested his arm on the edge. It's like a cool dude. You assumed he was thanking the driver for getting him here, considering he slipped them a tip during that brief chat. They shook hands, and then he pushed himself up and away from the taxi with both arms, giving the driver room to leave. The taxi pulled away, rolling carefully down the road and out of sight around a corner. The new renter had officially arrived. He left his suitcase on the ground, out of the way of the street, and sauntered over your way with the confidence of someone who had been invited to join. Cove finally stood up to greet this person. You followed suit.
Excellent.
I don't know if my voice came out like that, but I feel like it came out similar to that. I'm Baxter Ward. It's excellent to meet you, neighbors. You were standing on the side he was approaching from. When Baxter got close enough, he offered his hand to you first. You shook it, you offered to low-five him. You held your arms open to offer a hug instead. You kept your distance. How rude would it be if I hugged him? We're just gonna shake his hand. Baxter gripped your hand firmly to give a satisfying shake. Hi, Baxter. I'm Jamie. Hi. Hey, Jamie. I am quite keen on getting to know you better this summer. We could be good friends. From your other side, Cove made a sudden sputtering noise. And you are? He lifted his hand out to Cove next. Cove shook his hand, still eyeing Baxter carefully. I'm Cove. Baxter's whole demeanor lit up for unknown reasons. His eyes shone as he studied Cove a moment. Now wait, is that a nickname or your real name? It's just my name. Cove spoke mildly, having given that explanation many times in the past, but it clearly charmed Baxter all the same. He tossed his head to one side with a laugh. Your parents knew exactly what they were doing. I can't imagine a more fitting name for the face I'm seeing. Cove. That's gorgeous.
What?
It's really not. No, I agree, it suits you. Hey, only I get to fluster him? Oh no! That's a lot considering you're talking to a stranger, Baxter. You didn't know what to say. We'll just say no, I agree, it suits you, because it does. It does. Okay, it does.
Not bad.
Nice to see someone else knows. The impact might have faded for you living with it this long, but I promise to the onlooker, it's a knockout. Okay, Baxter. No. We're not doing this. We're not doing this. Cove couldn't face either of you after that. His cheeks were quickly turning bright red with embarrassment. You noticed that Baxter looked apologetic over Cove's increased discomfort. I'm sorry. It wasn't intended to mean more than it did. I like your name, but you don't have to mind that. I'm patently against stepping on anyone's toes. He's nice! Okay. Alright, Baxter. He chuckled to himself. It seemed like there was some extra meaning hidden there in his words, and you noticed that Cove raised an eyebrow, picking up on that too. Baxter didn't even open his eyes to see your faces, to know he had some filling to do. He stood up straighter, striking a slight pose with the position of his feet. I'm a ballroom dancer, hence the phrasing. Oh. I don't know much about dancing, but that's pretty cool. It's not hard once you get the basics down. Cove didn't look convinced at all. Baxter took that as a cue to keep talking. Well, he grinned in a way that was rapidly becoming familiar to you. If either of you are ever looking for a partner, I'm available. Cove frowned at the overt forwardness. Thanks? I'll pass, I think. Y'all. I'll take you up on that offer sometime. I'd rather not. I could probably show you some moves. You didn't answer the question. Do we flex? Do we want to flex? Let's flex. Let's flex on Baxter right here.
Excellent.
Oh, you can? I'll look forward to that then. No, I want to do a dance battle right now. After that, there was a lull in conversation and Cove attempted to fill it. What made you decide on Sunset Bird? Oh, yes, well, my parents rented a condo, so I had a place to stay while I'm off for a semester from college and not living in the dorms. There was a playful glint in Baxter's eyes as he continued. Ideally, they wanted to send me somewhere that wasn't too exciting, but lucky for me, they picked the wrong street, considering the two of you live here. Oh my god, what? Who is this? He's kind of cool. Baxter is kind of cool. Cove was practically reeling over how Baxter found a way to fit comments like that into every topic thus far. Why do you keep doing that? You don't know us, but you talk like you already do. Cove spoke, firm yet genuinely confused, and Baxter smiled cautiously. I don't feel the need to keep words of praise to myself, and when I say something, I mean it. See? Plus, what's the point of spending my off semester alone? The best part of being somewhere new is getting to interact with new people. Am I honestly the first person who's acknowledged you're attractive and intriguing people? True, you're hidden away in a tiny tourist trap, but still. Baxter crossed his arms. After studying your faces a few more seconds, he decided to continue. Am I only trying to score a hookup or get a romantic fling started by saying these things? No, that isn't the point of speaking well of others. I was raised better than that. Though, would I be fussed if that wasn't my words led to? Also no. I am flexible. Not a surprise, This guy is awesome! I can back off with the lines if you don't like the attention, but I would like to be friends if we can. Cove wasn't sure how to respond. He glanced at you and he continued to look at your face when he spoke. Thanks for answering. I'm not interested in any of that with you. Maybe not the friend thing, but the other part. It doesn't bother me. I'd appreciate it if you didn't do that with me. I'm finding it pretty entertaining. You probably annoy a lot of people. You stood there unsure of how to react. I'm gonna be straight up, I'm finding it entertaining. So let's keep this going. I like this guy, I like his spunk, and I don't want to jeopardize him losing his personality. So hopefully, I'm finding it pretty entertaining. Baxter laughed at that. Glad we're working things out. Shifting his weight to his other foot, Baxter tried to move forward. So, since you were both already out here, did my arrival interrupt anything? Definitely not. you were the what we were doing, buddy. You smiled and silently agreed. You laughed in a conspiratorial way. You looked away nervously. You told Baxter that you were both waiting to see who was gonna move in. Do we throw Cove under the bus and tell Baxter what we were doing? Let's just laugh in a conspiratorial way, because it kind of does both, I think. Baxter looked at you curiously. He didn't understand your response, but he chose not to question it and smiled politely instead. Well, if either of you are free, I'd be thrilled to hang out this summer. But we can save the scheduled talk for later. I should get my things inside. He gave a small nod of the head and flashed you both a dazzling smile. Goodbye for today. Bye. Ko gave a small wave as well. Bye, Baxter. See you. I like him. I like him. Baxter then turned on his heels and strolled back to his suitcase, picking it up and bringing it to his condo. You and Cove were silent as Baxter unlocked the door and disappeared inside the house. With him completely out of the scene, Cove let out a long breath.
Well,
I don't know how I'm going to explain that guy to my dad. You burst into a fit of laughter. I was thinking that too, trying to imagine the conversation. So, you like it when people say that sort of stuff about people? It's okay to do it? Never mind. Oh, Cove. Cove! At least the job is done. We saw the new neighbor, and now we can go meet up with Terry and Miranda. Yeah, we should get going. I want to answer that. You gave Baxter's condo one last glance over your shoulder. You're looking forward to seeing more of him. You thought he was charming. You were not interested in him. You weren't sure how to feel. You thought he gave a pretty bad first impression. You decided he definitely wasn't somebody you liked. We definitely thought he was charming, for sure. This better not cut into the Cove relationship thing, though. You really weren't sure when, but at some point, Baxter won you over. You were curious to get to know him better, for sure. Laughing quietly, you wondered how Baxter would fit in with the rest of your neighborhood. Turning your attention back to Cove, you pushed all thoughts of Baxter aside. You both started making your way towards town. I hope you guys really enjoyed this episode. Again, I apologize for it taking a month to get out, but here it is. Hopefully I can keep the ball rolling. I've got a little bit more time, we'll see. But if you like the video, give me some of them thumbs ups and leave a comment down below on how you feel about first meeting Baxter. Who is this character? What's going to happen with him? Yeah, and if you want to keep seeing more content like this, hit that subscribe button. And until next time, you guys, bye!